Alrighty, guten Morgen. Hey, it is 3 hours before the open of Wall Street. That means it's 6:30 a.m. ish. Actually, 6:35. Gave it a couple of minutes to let people in. But anywho, welcome to QuantBox Live. This is our opportunity to get our macro on and uncover the best fundamental opportunities across the global markets. S&P 500, FTSE, DAX, gold, oil, dollar, pound, euro, yen, and 29 more assets. Amazing, huh? Well, it is actually quite amazing. So, anyways, my name is Wayne McDonald. I'm not only the founder of QuantBox, but I'm also a Harvard educated economist. Very cool. So I love everything macro. I love economic analysis. It helps me put together my fundamental bias. And then I take that onto the charts because technically a trend trader. So I try to use technical and fundamental analysis. Anyways, move on with it. If you're watching this video on YouTube, hey, good for you. I'm glad you're using this information, but you're getting it more than 3 hours late, 4 hours late. You know what? You could be here in the early morning, have this at 6:30 a.m. or watch the recording at 7. QuantBox has a trial, $8 for a week, man. Come on, kick down, come clean. Don't be a holdout machine. You know you want it. Look at all the pretty colors, huh? So, anywho, give it a test drive. With that being said, let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money you cannot afford to lose. So, logging in, you will see, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on there. That's supposed to be the most recent QuantBox live recording. If it does that, and again, I don't know why I did that, you can go here. This is yesterday's. So therefore, if yesterday was Wednesday the 21st, it must be Thursday the 22nd. See? Mathy mind. Huh? Mathy mind. So, anyways, happy Thursday. That also means it's swing trading group day at FX Bootcamp. Nonetheless, let's get into the Google Cloud. Let me switch to the proper Google profile associated with QuantBox, and it will let me into the cloud. Tickety boo. Yesterday, it wouldn't let me in. So all I did is I went to a new browser session, made sure I was logged in on that browser session, and then tried it. And it worked perfectly. So it happens. All right, Bitcoin way out of position. There is something odd going on with Bitcoin. It's not technical, it's not fundamental. It's a massive outlier, and it has been for a couple of days. And if you rewind the tape, you'll find out that the SEC is going after all the Bitcoin competitors. Huh? That's all it is. Huh? The SEC. So all it is, going after their competitors. So that leaves Bitcoin the last one standing. If you want to own crypto in the United States, especially if you're a licensed and registered hedge fund, well, oil B, you're going to have to stick with Bitcoin and dump your Shiba Inu. By the way, I have a few million if you want to buy some for me. That's cool. I'll give you a good deal. All right, cool. So, anyways, you can see that right away. Well, let's do a deeper dive because that might not give a proper story. You might read that as risk on, and that might be true, but I think that is more of a Bitcoin related issue than a macroeconomic risk on, risk off issue, right? So, anywho, let's get rid of crypto and look at our scatter plot. And what we see is gold down, S&P 500 down, DAX down, NASDAQ down, Japanese stock market, the Nikkei is down. Yeah, lots of down. Okay, the FTSE down, oil was down. All right, so definitely a risk off tone recently. And our job today is to figure out if that's going to continue through the rest of the day. This just shows you what has been, or more precisely, what is. and the biggest outliers. Zooming into just the majors here. Okay. Pound and euro and Kiwi. Oh, that's risk on, but these are risk off. It's weird, right? So wait, is this maybe it's a commodity play? So Aussie's weak versus the dollar when the dollar's already weak. So Aussie's very, very weak, and then but and CAD is down. So that's weird. No, well that USD CAD down makes sense if this is up and this is up and this is up, but it doesn't make sense if this is up. So, anyways, it's a bit of a scattered scatter plot. It's not clear. It kind of feels indicative of maybe topishness or bottomishness, maybe the end of the trend. Maybe like for example, if we're looking at price action, just imagine we're on a chart and it was trending, and then all of a sudden, not everybody agrees with what's going on, and all the correlations start breaking down as people start picking winners and losers, and then you get a new trend. So maybe we're in a scenario like that. Well, that's a big maybe. But when you look at technical analysis, many of the charts are at places you would expect something like this. And then when you look at seasonality, it's the time of year to expect something like this. Okay. So if it looks like an elephant, sounds like an elephant, feels like an elephant, smells like an elephant, it just might be an elephant, but not necessarily. Okay. All right, cool. So, any big moves over here? No, seems a lot like yesterday. Well, that's good. They're not supposed to flip very often. So these yen, so like Aussie yen has gone neutral. That's interesting. Okay. Now, some interest rates have gone up, right? Bank of England, Swiss National Bank, Switzerland raised interest rates. Norway raised interest rates 50 basis points. Did you see that today? Let's uh let's just change one of these. Boo boo boo. Boo 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 boo. Okay, Euro Noke. Noki noki noki. Get some Noki. MT4. One drawdown of MT4 is it's hard to find things. Uh, well, I found Euro Noki, Pound Noki, USD Noki. There it is. Noki Noki Noki. Hmm? What do you think? You think that that move is Norway coming to QuantBox? No, I don't think so. But you could correlate it. Like to typically like if Brent is doing well, Norway might be doing well because it sells Brent to the world. Look, their central bank jacked up interest rates. So what you can ask yourself, what happens when the central bank uh, in Norway jacks up interest rates? You're like, well, it seems to favor that particular currency. Cool. Okay. Now, if you happen to be a bear on it anyways, let me show you. I have to change my bias pivots and bearish mode. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. So, anyways, that might. Okay. So, if you're going to follow this trend, you see the mean. We're at the mean. Okay. Measuring variances. Okay. Measure the variances. Square root that variance. Okay. And one might say today we're at the mean and we could head down to the bottom of the mean. one standard deviation below the mean. Cool, right? Oops, oops, oops. All right, so we got to get through that. So probably look for higher low, or sorry, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Could be a rabbit, could be. Anyway, so we venture we venture out in the world. So yeah, cool. Other things to talk about. By the way, I think this is an improvement. You remember, like, this chart wasn't displaying. It displayed the price, the time, sorry, the date twice. So the way that I've organized this is that it's showing you how many minutes until the Bank of England interest rate decision. Oh, okay. And the consensus is a 25 basis point rate hike. Cool. So that's nice. The colors, I don't know. If it's gray, it's already happened. They're not the greatest colors, so I'll play around with it a little more, but it gives you an idea. Red is important. Jobless claims are interesting because they have been steadily going up, and that it could be a leading indicator of a recession coming. And with that being said, I believe leading indicators are coming out today. Oh, yeah, leading indicators. Okay. Consumer confidence. Okay. Existing home sales. Okay. But really, I think the big one to watch it, well, obviously the Bank of England. Yes. Okay. We got that. Um, but the because we're trying to figure out if Powell and friends are going to raise interest rates again. And in fact, are they going to raise once or twice? Well, this going up more and more and more, trending up and up and up means they don't really have to raise more. Okay. Leading leading indicators will be interesting, but it's been negative for over a year. But obviously, it's a leading indicator, so it's telling you recession's coming. But it's been saying that for a while. If you listen to the testimony that Jay Powell gave yesterday, and remember he has a testimony again today, um, he was pretty clear that interest rates are going to go up further. He said, "Well, imagine you're on the freeway, and then you decide to move on to the city streets. You slow down, and then as you get closer and closer to your destination, then you get to the neighborhood streets. You got to slow down again." And now we're trying to find our, we're close. We're trying to find our destination. We're very close. And so we are slowing down more, but we're not there yet. You're like, oh, that's okay. Well, it's a reasonable analogy. Hey, right? But anywho, okay. So anywho, that's what's going on there. So another testimony, but I think we get it. The Fed's going to raise interest rates. Raphael Bostic, a Harvard man, Harvard. He's even on the Harvard Board of Overseers. He's the president of the Atlanta Fed. Yeah, he's one of the two people that want to pause right here, right now. No more rate hikes at all. There's only two people that feel that way. He and somebody else. We know that because he gave a speech yesterday. So anywho, very cool. So what do you feel like doing today? You're trying to figure out risk on or risk off. Be nice if we had a tool that would help with that analysis, huh? Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. Maybe, yeah, that would be helpful. Well, let's move over and let's do some technical analysis on this because QuantBox does daily trend analysis. It's trying to cut out the noise and look at the longer term trend. So what is actually happening today? Dollar is weak right here right now, and yen is weak right here right now. So that's a risk on play. Euro's up mostly because dollar's down. Pound is up, and then we saw many of the commodities are sort of meh. So this idea that the Bank of England is going to have to jack up interest rates, Europe is going to have to jack up interest rates. That might be what's happening here. I don't know. Dollar's weak. Okay. So the strongest trend recently were the yen pairs. And they're kind of doing their thing. They're doing all right. Commodities are not doing as well today, if you recall. So we could look at like this euro yen. It has now made a higher high. I caught it on the 4-hour 21 EMA. Okay. And then I drew this as a floor and it broke out, came back. Then I drew this as a ceiling. We broke that. And you can see kind of this retest. And it seems to be moving along tickety boo. Okay. Up, 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 down, down, buy. Sweet. Okay. So you could move your stop, let's say below this pivotal area. It's not a pivot point, but a fractal, I think is the other word to call it. The other one that looks to be doing well today is pound. Let's go to this chart setup. And in very similar fashion, it came down to the 21. Oops, where's my drawing tool? Okay. It was up at a top, came down to the 21 and went up. Then we had CPI news out of the UK that was terrible, came all the way down, double bottomed. And then everyone's like, hey, wait, what? Hey, high inflation. That means they're going to have to raise interest rates. Okay. And that's what we talked about yesterday. And now that seems to be back into play. Okay. So again, just a normal kickoff the 21, horrible CPI, which says the economy sucks, but that means rates are going higher. Got yourself a little carry trade. Yep. There you go. So that's how that all came together. CAD's not doing very well today, but it's doing all right against the yen. Up, down to the 21, another buy, long and gone. Okay. So, what you should be doing with these types of moves is when you have a higher high, you measure this out. So, you can see that you may have already missed the move of the day. And so we might be thinking about tomorrow. So it might, let's say, it goes up for a few more hours, maybe, and then fizzles out near maybe the end of the day, maybe the middle of the day, maybe London close. And then you got that, just like it did here. Yeah. Anywho, that's interesting. All of this being set by QuantBox. Even Aussie's doing okay on a bad day. Notice though that this went lower than all the other pairs. Okay, and we knew that. We knew that. So in fact, I said I'm interested in buying the yen pairs, just not Aussie yen. That was on Tuesday. Seems like a million years ago, though, huh? Was that Tuesday? That was Tuesday, wasn't it? Holy smokes. I'm telling you, that seems like a week ago. On Tuesday, we said Not, not long this one. If you were going to take a shot to the south side, it would be this one. Oh, well, it hasn't really done anything. But going back, going back to QuantBox, okay, you can see the setup here. Delete. Where's my little tool? Okay. Strong buy, strong buy, strong buy, strong buy, strong buy. All right, well, strong buy and buy. So these are the ones I'm long. And look way down here. No, not Aussie. Oh, dang it. And Aussie's the only one that didn't move up. Bravo, bravissimo. Okay. Amazing. Amazing. Anyways. Okay. So thank you, QB. And then what about these dollar pairs, huh? Euro CAD is like the only one for a decent sell. Aussie CAD, Kiwi CAD. So some CAD strength maybe in the works. Pound CAD maybe. Don't know. I would stay away from Euro CAD in the moment while the US dollar isn't necessarily strong. Okay. So I think for that would be an interesting timing. I'd like the US dollar to get strong. So why don't we do that? Let's say in the next 3, 4, 5 days, dollar gets strong. What would happen? Well, the first thing I want to show is if the US dollar gets strong, the euro dollar is 40% of the entire foreign exchange market, which tells you US dollar is a reserve currency. And the only thing close to the US dollar as a reserve currency is maybe euro, but it's not. And it's not even close. So, really, it's just heavily traded. It's a huge economy. This is a huge economy. So, anyways, if the reserve currency gets strong, very often the euro weakens just because so many people trade it. So they want to sell euro to buy the dollar. Dollar gets strong, euro gets weak. Just a consequence. And it may have nothing to do with euro and only to do with the dollar. Okay. So not ECB policy, not rates, not this, not anything about Europe, just the dollar. So if the dollar gets strong, the euro might get weak. And QuantBox says, psst, hey, psst, did you see that euro CAD? Okay. So then you go to the next one. So if euro dollar's down, you might want to look at euro kitty CAD, is kind of how QuantBox is saying it. And by the way, just to look at this quickly, CAD is quite neutral. So don't get too excited today. This is a big if. Okay. Like I said, it could be 3, 4, 5, 6 days from now. Look at this chart. It's not pretty. It's not exciting. There's no real good trade. This is a mediocre place for a bounce. Um, but just for sake, if that held, that we'd be going all the way to R1. I think many market participants are saying, well, R1 is a bit much, right? So you'd be thinking down. Let me back out now. So over the next few days, if this is what you wanted to do with your time, you could be setting up a trade that looks like this. Okay. And eventually down. I don't see it now, but quantitatively, it might make sense. But not happening. Euro strong. CAD's okay. CAD's okay. You can see CAD's holding its own. Going back to this setup, CAD's okay. It's neither strong nor weak. because the calculations I use for this is CAD versus everything. That's how you create an index. And it's fine. So it's not necessarily strong. And euro is strong. So it's too early. If euro weakens and CAD strengthens, then that's a perfect storm. Okay. I'll leave you with this thought. Gold is breaking out. Okay. Gold is breaking out. Okay. So maybe, okay, maybe there's something new here. You can see the technical trend is down. And if you recall, about a week ago, I guess, I said, hey, don't be shocked if we go back down to 18. And some of that is from sort of this look at this seasonality. It's really, 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 really flat. And then there tends to be a drop at the end of the year. This big rally here that we had this year was way out of position. And it dropped to normal levels pretty quickly, huh? Okay. And if we go into recession, imagine all these things here start falling. Okay. Imagine in the United States, for example, we have negative GDP. Oh, thank you, Denise. Then that could go negative pretty quickly because right now it's not necessarily that there's inflation. What you want to see is if inflation was let's say 3.7, then it was 2.4, then it was then it was 1.8, that kind of stuff, or GDP or whatever you want to be measuring. The fact that it's a positive number, so the absolute number, if this was GDP, so if this was GDP, there's absolute growth. The economy is bigger than last year, but it's contracting. The rate of positive growth is contracting, and that could be with the drag, right? And if this is inflation, then it's disinflationary. It's not deflationary. It's disinflationary, and that would drive, you would think, gold down. So the Bank of England raised by 50 basis points. Very, very interesting. So we can very quickly go back to a yen pair and see how the world is reacting to that. And it went up, hit the monthly pivot point, stopped. And so the thought process, anyways, could be something like this. Maybe, maybe, could be a rabbit. So that was QuantBox Live. That just happened. Happy Thursday. Okay, that was your London lunch, pre-New York Open. If you're a member of FX Bootcamp, live trading groups, day trading, or swing trading, I will see you at the New York close to plan out next week, technically, at fxbootcamp.com. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, just come to QuantBox and give it a try. $8. Blow you away. Cheers.